You're listening to Last Hit News on the .P Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Last Hit News update. I'm Cyphus. To avoid spoilers for this weekend's Mars Dota 2 League, please skip ahead to roughly the 2-minute mark. This weekend, the Autumn 2016 Mars Dota 2 League wrapped up its playoffs with an exciting best-of-5 grand finals between Evil Geniuses and Newbie, with Evil Geniuses clinching that final series over Newbie 3-1. Both teams started the playoffs in the upper bracket, with Newbie advancing to the upper bracket finals through OG, and Evil Genius advanced to those finals after defeating Team Secret. Newbie initially took the upper bracket finals, defeating Evil Geniuses 2-0, and knocking EG to the lower bracket finals. EG fought their way through the lower bracket finals against OG 2-1 to face Newbie once again in the grand finals. The grand finals opened with a brutal 57-minute game that saw an incredible amount of action between both teams, as well as a very tight net worth spread. Despite stellar performances from Newbie's UUU9 on Luna and SCCC's Invoker, new EG captain Crit managed to lead the team to victory with an impressive 11-2 Mirana from Sumail, coupled with the pushing power of an RTZ Drow, and next-level scans that left Newbie with several lackluster smoke attempts. Game 2 would be a bit more one-sided in favor of EG, with Sumail and RTZ both dominating on Storm Spirit and Ursa respectively. Newbie would manage to take Game 3 off of EG on the back of yet another UUU9 Luna, but EG came back to finally cinch the series in Game 4 after Newbie finally permitted Crit to pick up an IO they'd been banning all series. EG dominated the final game with 31 kills to Newbie's 13, and a net worth lead that never stopped growing after 17 minutes into the game. Newbie called GG before the 36-minute mark. Tune in Friday to LHN for more in-depth coverage of the MDL tournament and a look ahead at more upcoming tournaments. Until next time, this has been Cyphus with your last hit news update for MDL 2016. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Defense of the Patients. I'm your host Cyphus. I'm not sitting here with my co-host Roland.
For the first time, I think ever. Yeah. Literally, for the first time ever. I wonder if I'll cut you off more or less.
Probably more.
Maybe more. Yeah, maybe more. Maybe more.
But you know what? I can say that this is the first show that I've ever recorded in my boxers. You know,
I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like nobody needed to know that. Yeah,
I feel
it's kind of like it's the same violation
that.
as somebody answering the phone when they're pooping. You know, it's like
okay.
you feel a little violated being brought into that place with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. I frequently text when I'm pooping.
That's fine, because I may not be reading the message right as you're pooping. You know what I mean? It could be 3 minutes before I notice I have a text message.
Sure. So you don't feel violated in that particular instance.
I know where the message came from, but it's not there now, and that's what matters.
Okay, fair enough.
So, you guys, if you notice any quality change, that's this is a one-time thing. Today, Sunday, has been insane. We've been watching MDL all day. We're working with a web developer, Captain Silverfox, as you guys know him. We're going through. You're going to see a new website very soon, I promise, but it's not hard to do, especially if you don't do it for a living. I mean, he's doing it after he goes to work, after he puts his kids to bed, after he does all this, he starts working on it. So you have to realize it does take time. Within a month, we're going to see some pretty cool shit is all I've got to say. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. So, funny story. Roland and I were supposed to attend. We do these like bi-weekly meetings, especially now that Blue's here and like somebody's actually making shit happen. You know.
Uh-huh.
So we're supposed to attend these bi-weekly meetings, and you and I, of course, were like way too busy, and like we're running so behind today that like I had to come home and record the show from here so that we could do it kind of quickly, and I could go right to bed to be up tomorrow by like 5 a.m.
Yeah, and you now have a way longer commute to work.
Yeah.
How many minutes? Like 20 minutes? I guess it's not way longer. I feel bad for the people who live in like suburbs of New York and have to drive into the city because we don't know what a commute is. But
no.
But what is your commute now? Like in comparison?
So before it was about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if there was bad traffic, and now I'm looking at like no shit, dude. I this.
I know where you live closer to me in a way.
I do live a little closer to you.
It didn't feel like a long drive driving home from your place 2 nights ago. for the people.
Yeah, it's
listening.
not too bad. But so my commute's closer to like 40 minutes typically, depending on if I get stuck behind some big piece of farm equipment.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot out here in the boonies.
Especially probably early in the morning. That's the best time for them to move their equipment on the roads.
Oh, dude, it's
Think
awful.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you just pass their asses? Yeah, I mean, you're driving a Mustang.
Oh, I do when I can. Yeah.
What if there's two tractors? Do you make the both coming at each other? Do you make the decision of they're moving slow enough I can get around? Because you're fucked if you don't. You're gonna get ran over by a tractor. You know.
Thankfully, most of the farmland is owned by like one or two guys, in the area that I have to drive through, and so they're not usually like they're not usually passing each other, if that makes sense. No,
I'm talking one's coming toward you, one's going like with you, and you try and pass around one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Then you're in the middle of a.
There's only like two guys out here, so that situation hasn't come up yet.
Oh, okay. It will. So 40 minutes is what you're dealing with. That totally blows. Like for people like me, like I would always have to wake up. I don't know if this is you, but I had to be up an hour before a job. I needed to turn my brain on, to get a shower, and to slam a hot Red Bull, because I drink my Red Bull hot in the mornings.
Sure, yeah.
And and I'd have to do it that way. And so that means that like if I work at 6, I'm waking up at like 4 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning.
Oh no, dude, I'm not that guy. I literally shower the night before. I do everything I can the night before, and then I get up. I get up the bare minimum before I have to be at that first meeting in the morning, and I roll out of bed. I throw on my clothes. I get in the Mustang, and I drive like a bat out of hell so that I don't miss any beautiful sleep time. Wow. Got to be that way.
So you don't like you wouldn't sacrifice sleep for like composure when you first come in?
No, because I figure I can get that on my drive. I mean, well, dude. we used to be smokers, so like for me that used to be like
cigarette was waking you up.
Yeah, the cigarette in the
really,
car.
You just came in looking disheveled, smelling like cigarettes.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I'd like to walk into work and feel like I was sharp. You know what I mean? I'm already sharp. Like, it's gonna take me no time to catch up, boss. I'm ready for work, boss. Anything you have to say?
I'm not worried about that. They can't fire me. I know too much. But the reason I bring up that commute and the reason I bring all that up is because I got to get the tail end of that last meeting that I was mentioning. Mm-hmm. And the one thing Blue said was, he said, hey, maybe let's not talk about the website until like it's closer, to being done, because we're about a month out. There's no need to bring that website up.
No, it's cool. Like I talked to Captain Silver Fox for a long time, and I just appreciate him. Like I can showcase an individual, whether it was set in a meeting to do so or not. Because guess what? I'm a founder, bitch. That's founder privileges.
Fair enough.
So yeah, no, I talked to Silver Fox for a long time.
The one thing Blue says was one thing that I
would have been fired in any other job for calling my boss a bitch. Because I kind of did but it was a roundabout, funny, jokey way that I'm sorry, and I couldn't attend the meeting because it was super busy, and my wife literally looks like she's a balloon that's just going to eventually have enough helium to bring her like up to the stratosphere, or B, about to fucking explode. She has gained literally, in my opinion, I mean, I live with her, no weight except for in her stomach. Like, that thing, it's a big ass baby belly, dude. Like,
well, I mean, she's 7 months now.
She's 31 weeks as of today. 31 weeks pregnant. So a 9-week stretch for a full term pregnancy, which the doctor has a feeling, and this is how he's putting it to us, which I believe means he's like getting us prepared that this thing is probably going to be more like 36 to 37 weeks. When she has this, anywhere from 4 to 3 weeks early. He's thinking a month early, possibly. No.
Your luck that thing's gonna go late, and she's gonna get
miserable. It's gonna be like 42 weeks, and like literally she won't be able to get through doors. It'll be like moving couches. You know what I mean? Like you have to angle it right to get her in, and she's not overweight, and like it's just a pregnant belly is all it is. It's like. Yeah. I remember when, I have a really younger sibling, and I remember when my mom was pregnant. Like, I was old enough to remember when she was pregnant with my way younger sister. And it's just way different. Just way different from how I remember that to now. I mean, I love it. Like
that's good.
I mean, it's hard as a rock too. It's crazy. It's just nuts. But I'm into it. Is all I'll say, and I'll leave it there.
You're a fan of the pregnant ladies now. Yeah, fair enough.
I think she looks good, dude. Like I think she looks better than she ever has, in my opinion. But
man.
I think that's just because I love my wife. I think that's what that mostly is.
That's all right. Well, we forgive you for loving your wife.
We did go to the mall though. We went to what it's called. It's called a station mall or something like that. It's an outside mall because that's like the trend apparently these days. Is I'd rather be trapped in a box, honestly. But the outside malls.
Okay, sure. Outside malls, open air malls.
Raining. And even out in the rain, even when it is like obvious that it's like, let's get from this destination to this destination, people touching the belly, dude. People, especially older people.
Strangers?
I think it's life, dude. I think older people just smell the life on that baby, dude. And they're like, damn, like I want some of that. You know what I mean?
Like they're trying to suck the life.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, life, grab it. Like we don't have much left.
So you're saying random strangers, right?
Yeah,
we're not talking about
I'm talking about just like I'm talking about just like people off the street, dude. They're like, oh my God, and the first thing they do, they don't even ask. They, especially here in Utah, you got to figure, because we definitely have this vibe where we look very LDS. We drive an LDS car. Audrey, yeah, I think I look LDS. For the most part.
I don't think so. I think that's because you overestimate how good of a guy you look like.
You're saying all LDS people look good?
I
feel like I look composed. Like that's what like an LDS person looks like. Not inebriated, with a pregnant woman usually, at a mall on a Saturday in the afternoon, drinking iced tea. No, not iced tea. There's caffeine. Drinking. What do they love? I don't know. Like water out of I don't even know what they drink, honestly. And I live here. Anyway, I feel like so the first thing that happens is the hand touches the belly before any talk ever takes place. Is the hand on the belly, and then what precedes that is, oh my God, how far along are you? To which Audrey takes this as like a compliment. This is not like a weird thing for Audrey. This is oh my God, I can talk about my pregnancy and let's commence. I'm about 31 weeks. He's a boy. His name's Charlie. Like all this like information that like you would never give a stranger if the baby were just born. Well, no, maybe newborns have the same effect. I don't know.
Bet they do.
People love life or something, dude. I don't.
I have never, and maybe
But I'm the third wheel in every conversation here. I'm always the third wheel. They've got the hand on the belly. They're talking to Audrey, and I'm just, Charlie. That's what it'll be called. And it's like weird, dude. I don't like it.
You're the guy who made it all happen,
And really, yeah. I mean, high fives should be given to me after touching the baby. It should immediately go to a high five, like, damn, and a boy too. Like the first try. Many kings couldn't even do that. You know what I mean?
An heir on the first goes.
Yeah. So it's weird. We're definitely doing more stereotypical like parent things. Like, oh my God, how could we have forgotten? We need the seat covers so that the car seat doesn't ruin our car. We need to go to the mall. It's like become that point. Yeah. Or
have you mentioned? Here's how. All right, I'm not even there. I'm going to help segue us back to Dota. Are you ready for this?
Why do we have to talk about Dota all the time? Come on.
Oh, did you not catch that bit at the beginning about how we're a Dota 2 podcast?
Did it say that? Does it say that at the start of the episode? Holy shit! I had no idea.
It's also all over our website.
Theory crafting about the game and trying hard at the game.
That's where most of that comes from.
Holy fuck!
Have you mentioned the baby presents you've gotten from fans?
Oh my God! Okay, so we have a new package every day, guys. It's insane. So, yeah, thank you for it's just become like a new package. And how I know that they're addressed from the registry, which I didn't even want to give out And Audrey's like, what are you talking about? Then Audrey logged on and gave it to Blackheart. And next thing I know, Blackheart's just distributed it to every channel possible. I didn't like... We can afford baby stuff is the thing. Like, I feel really bad for people who can't. Because it's like, we're people who absolutely could, but don't have to pay for a damn thing. It's just a weird, like, cultural standard. I don't know what it is. Like, no wonder, like, the people, anyway, like, we could afford to go buy a crib and diapers and baby curtains and the wallpaper we want and everything like that. Like, we could afford car seats and strollers and all this, and it really wouldn't affect, anything. Like, but yeah, we get everything for free. It's weird, dude. I've just got to say, I feel bad, and that's why we're gonna do 3 Christmases for families this year. Is like, that's why we're gonna do that, is because it's like people gave to us, and now it's our duty to give back to people who actually need.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Baby registries, dude, like, I feel like unless you need it, do it. Like, I was not for the baby registry. I was like, why are we doing that? Because people give us free stuff. It's like, well, we're not people who need free stuff. I don't know. And I don't mean to, like, sound like, I could pay for myself. I just mean, like, I wish it was donated, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm a humanitarian.
Well, this most of the stuff that everybody got you from the .p side of things.
But thank you guys so much. It's like, it means the world. And Audrey now has it in her head that and this is embarrassing, but she, like, goes and tells her friends I'm famous. And it's like, please don't do that. Because now I see them and they're like, wow, I heard you're famous. And it's like, no, I'm not. Please don't. It's a Dota 2 podcast. You don't even know what Dota 2 is. I'm not going to explain it to you. Can we just act like I just do stuff in a shed? Can we just go back to that assumption where I'm just out in a shed all the time instead of being famous? Much rather just be the weird guy in the shed than that. Because it's I
just loved annoying. That all the stuff that everybody sent you was stuff to keep the baby occupied while you were playing Dota in the shed.
Yeah, no. So there was a little jungle gym given by Flub and Ursi and Proud and Blackheart. And if I forgot somebody, I definitely deserve to be murdered because that's horrible. But those 4 sent me... I got the one thing, I took a picture, and I tweeted it out, and was like, oh my god, you guys did too much. And then they sent 2 other things, but we don't know what they are because they're wrapped. And and Audrey wants to open them at the baby shower because she wants to tell everybody that I'm famous and that the fans of my show sent this in, when really it was more like the administration of the show and, like, my good friends that sent it in.
Live it up.
Anyway, yeah, we have received a lot of stuff. It's just awkward, dude. Like, you have a room full of people, and it's like, yeah, Josh is famous. And it's like, no, let's not, no, please, no, nope. And then people ask questions, and it's like, it's a game, it's like chess. Just imagine chess. And, like, I just give, like,
I don't know, dude.
It's not like chess at all. I don't think it's like chess.
I saw you and Sean Penn getting pretty buddy the other day.
Well, me and Sean have a different relationship. Me and Sean both kind of understand the woes, you know what I mean, of people finding out about, what you do when you work in a tin shed and your neighbors think you're growing pot or something like that. I'm sure my Mormon neighbors are like, illegal activities going in there, but we don't want to call the police because what if they have guns? And it's like, we don't have guns. You have guns, you crazy bitches, and you're voting for Trump. But, yeah. Anyway, we can talk about Dota. I have been playing Dota, and I've been doing it the Ursi way. Also, a.k.a. the right way, I will say.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's exactly how I've been playing lately. Ever since we had that talk,
I've been playing a lot. So apparently, to give you some insight on Path of Exile, I don't know if I've talked about it on the show. I've definitely talked about it with you a ton, but I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. It's a great game, guys. But the reason why I've been using Path of Exile, it's kind of like a nicotine patch for Dota 2. It's when you've just had a bad game and you shouldn't play Find Match, but you don't play any other video games, so you click Find Match anyway. Just download Path of Exile. It's free. It's literally a free download, and it's great for when you want to be entertained and not just by Dota. And so what I've been doing is when I feel sharp, I pop on, and you know what heroes I've been playing when I feel sharp? Just take a wild guess.
Spectre, because you're ripping off your old buddy Cyphus these days.
Nature's Prophet, Dagon first.
Oh my god!
And I haven't lost with it yet. I'm at a 73% with Nature's Prophet. So my starting items are Iron Talon, Teleport Scroll, and 1 Observer Ward. I TP to the middle of the tier 2, tier 1 tower of the opposing team. I slap a ward down. I then TP home because I don't even want to be seen in that area because they'll know something's up and they might move the courier in a weird way because it's obvious. So I put the ward down from tree coverage. And they're on Radiant and Dire. There's both a place where you can be in the trees and place a ward. And I do it so quickly that I know they haven't even left their fountain yet. And so, yes, I'm losing about a minute of that ward. That ward's only around for about 6 minutes of the actual game, but it's worth losing that minute. And then what's happened every single game is I cliff jungle because I got teleport first. How do you jungle Nature's Prophet if you get teleport first? You cliff jungle with an Iron Talon. So I cliff jungle on the respective medium camp. You can do it on Dire and Radiant. I cliff jungle until the courier comes, kill the courier, sell the Iron Talon, buy boots, go back into the jungle, get my Dagon. My latest timing so far has been 12 minutes on Dagon 1 with boots and Windlace. So I'm actually realizing that speed was exactly what I needed. And then I do a 1-2.
Well, folks, it only took 2.5 years.
Yep. I do a 1-3-1, a 1-3-1-1. So I get 1 level in trees, 3 levels in teleport, 1 level in tree trap. So it's really a 1-1-1, and then it turns into 1-2-1, and then a 1-3-1, and then a 1-3-1-1 for Nature's Prophet. And I use my ult and Dagon, and I blast people down, especially with PA being in meta. I haven't played 6.88 E or D or Z or G,
I was gonna ask.
Whatever one. I read it and I understand it thoroughly, and I would love to talk about that. But
yeah, we totally
and we should get into it. But yeah, so I've been doing the Dagon Prophet, and it is incredible. I go Dagon, and then I get E-Blade, and it's over. And that's it. And I split push, and I look for pickoffs. It's like Spectre 2.0, dude. Like I just literally I'm winning games later than 30 minutes, and I'm winning games earlier than 30 minutes. So it's fun, and I have a blast, and my farming is getting good. I kill the courier like at least once a game. I promise you that. Think about you laning mid. Are you really watching your courier that much? And what I do is I teleport into the trees and I get it on its way back. I never get it on its way there. I get it on its way back because they already sent it home. Why would it be in danger?
Yeah. I know, I'm with you. That's how anytime like I'm playing a roamer like bounty.
But the great thing is I'm not even roaming.
I always get it on the way back.
Yeah, I'm just teleporting there. I'm not even roaming, and I just keep my eyes on the minimap while I cliff jungle. And then by the time I get level 2, I get trees. Because why would you get? I mean, I'm not ganking until I get my Dagon, so I get Sprout at level 3 just in case I need a gank without a Dagon. Because believe it or not, Nature's Prophet can spit out some good damage with a Null Talisman. Because that's my second buy. I get that Null Talisman really quick because it builds into Dagon, and it's damage for an int hero like Nature's Prophet. So the return of the Dagon Prophet is back. Oh my god! And to great success. I'm at a 71% win rate with Nature's Prophet right now over 30 games.
Do you ever get cheeky with it and go? So
I team fight with it. It's just look at it as like a spell that I just have an extra spell by 20 minutes that does.
No, I mean like with your cliff jungling when you go for the ancients, because isn't it easier?
Oh, I don't teleport. It's not ancient cliff jungling. It's medium camp cliff jungling. That's why I buy the Iron Talon.
I was gonna, okay.
Yeah, no. I make it so I'm mobile. I don't ever want to trap myself on a cliff. Like I need to still be able to teleport around. If like there's an easy kill in like somebody barely got away, I'm going to go after him without Dagon too. You know what I mean? I'm not just like that set. Like, so like, I cut trees down, whether it's Dire or whether it's Radiant. Dire requires you to cut way more trees, which is a bummer, which is why I prefer to do it on Radiant. But, cause Radiant, you only have to cut down 3 trees, but Dire, you have to cut down like 9. And so by 4 minutes, you need to cut down those 9 again. And it sucks. But you should only be cutting down 2 waves of trees before you're completely out of jungle and have sold Iron Talon. Because that Iron Talon's another 250 gold toward your Dagon that's doing you a lot of good. And getting that Dagon right away is going to compound into Dagon 2, to Dagon 3, to Dagon 4, to Dagon 5, because you're going to be getting kills. Or assists, rather. Because I go where the team is, and I say, hey, I can sprout this guy, and I sprout Dagon. Even if he's at full health, I sprout Dagon, and I want somebody else to get the kill. Because I know that I only need assist gold. I only need to be around. That's it. I'll get my gold because I'm going to head back to the jungle until I find another opportunity like that to be with the team or to split push or whatever. I went up against the Storm Spirit Breaker last night. Like 2 of Nature's Prophet, like biggest counters, in my opinion. Storm Spirit, I love it when there's a Nature's Prophet because he can't get away from you. You just zip into a circle of trees and you electric vortex. You zip after him. Hopefully you're a smart Storm Spirit and you buy Dust if he buys Shadow Blade and you kill him. Like, easiest thing to kill in the world. If Spirit Breaker gets sight of me, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? Like, he can just hit me and then ult me and I'm dead. Like, I don't live through Spirit Breaker at like really any stage of the game. So it's still won throughout this because the way I played that game was I didn't go after. I took Proud's advice and I said, there's no such thing as a 1v1 is what I'm getting in my head right now and trying to by saying, there is no circumstance where if I'm at full health and they're at full health that I'm going to win that fight. I just make that assumption in my mind. Even though, like, if somebody's weak or something, I'll go after him for sure. But, like, if I even see somebody, many levels below me, if I just see them, chances are there's somebody else around and it's not a 1v1. Now it's a 3v1 and I'm dead. And at the most, I just got a 1-for-1 trade. Or at the best, the best I got a 1-for-1 trade. So
and fed back most of the gold that you picked up off of the kill.
And I probably killed him before they killed me, meaning I got all that extra gold that I then just gave away, and then they all got experience for my death, and I only got experience for his. Anyway, it's not worth it. So what I've been doing is encouraging teammates, like we had a Kunkka, and it was awesome, where I'd be like, Kunkka, X yourself, and just go into the jungle, bro. And if we see anybody, I'll know to go there and you can start walking there and then we can totally get a kill. Between Torrent, Tree Trap, Dagon, and him, like just doing general right-click damage, both of us, we can isolate a target. And that way I'm always with somebody. And then Spirit Breaker comes in and then just gets X'd away, just like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, because I was like, I don't think Spirit Breaker counters Kunkka, and then you're like, X marks, bro. And I was like,
dude.
I told you. That's a pretty damn good spell for Spirit Breaker, ain't it? That's been really fun. So it's been heavy communication too. It's not like I'm just blasting music. Like, I am heavily communicating with the team, being like, hey, we have tier 2 bot. Let's grab tier 1 mid and then go top and grab tier 2 or tier 1 top. And then I work it that way. Like, I look at it as we have 6 objectives before we take high ground, and that is the 6 outer towers. And we're gonna work on that. And I just basically made Nature's Prophet into teleporting nuker is all I'm looking at. I'm here to stop somebody, nuke them, and then add some push with my trees.
Yeah,
and it's actually really super fun, really fun to play, and I'd say pretty effective so far. It's how I've gained my last like probably 100 MMR is by doing this. And if I'm only playing 1 game a day, that's the type of game I want to play. I guess it says a lot about me, but that's the way I want to play.
I've been doing the exact same thing. Like, when I look back on like my last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It used to be all 10 of those would have been ranked matches, and
I'm not playing normal. I mean, that's still but I'm now doing.
I'm okay. Well, then you're not doing it the Ursi way. You're not doing it the Ursi way.
I'm not doing it the Ursi way. I guess Ursi, yeah, but I go and last hit. Well, what I'll do with Nature's Prophet. So if it's yesterday, for instance, I created a lobby and I farmed the Dagon as fast as I could, and at 3 minutes, I teleported myself to where the courier would be, even though there was no courier there. And I just said, a general rule of thumb, I'm saying the courier is going to be here at 3 minutes. And so I teleported myself there and then TP'd home. And that's another very important thing is, so you have that Iron Talon in jungle, right? And you're jungling, in your cliff jungling. You need to have a teleport scroll and a null talisman to you by the time you go after that courier, or preferably, and you will have enough gold by the time you see that courier. In every instance, I've had a teleport scroll shipped to me and a null talisman. And the null is to jungle faster, and the teleport scroll is so when I teleport in as Nature's Prophet with his teleportation skill, I'm not stuck there and have to run away. I can TP back. So I don't have to die for killing the courier.
Right.
And so I kill the courier and immediately start TPing, and that's what I do. which is another key difference in how I would have played Natures and how I play him now, is that I know that I'm going to get the courier, and I know that I want to get out of being in between the tier 1 and tier 2 of the enemy. And so what's the best way to do that? Kill the courier and TP right away. And oftentimes the courier's coming with a creep wave. And I can't have a creep wave following me around. That's certain death. You know, if I go after the courier and there's a creep wave. It's not certain death if I have a TP scroll. I can take all the hits from the creeps while getting the 2. It only takes 2 hits to kill a walking courier. If it's a flying courier, I just have to say I wasted my time with that ward. If they upgrade it by 3 minutes and it's a flying courier, which has happened to me. Because I don't have the damage to kill a flying courier at that point. Not even with a null.
What about, have you considered grabbing like Orb of Venom?
Orb of Venom only is it's way worse for range. It's like 3% slow for 2 seconds or something like that for ranged.
Is it? Wow, I didn't realize that.
Will you pull it up, seeing as you're in Dota? I would love to know. I know it's like wildly different from range to melee. Like that's why you get it on Bounty Hunter, right? Is it gives you that successive hit. With Natures, you have enough range where you can get 2 hits on a courier, especially if you know that it's coming back and you're hiding in the trees. So you're like, I know I know exactly the path it's going to take. I'm going to walk out of the trees.
Even if wow, you're right.
What is it?
So the poison damage per second is the same, duration is the same, but it's only for melee does it slow it by 12%. For ranged, it only slows by 4%. Wow, 4%. That's something I've never paid attention to. I'll be honest.
Yeah. That's why you don't like. That's why you've never. I can't think of a single ranged hero that like it's core on. I don't think there's a single ranged hero that it's core on, but it might be. I don't know. The poison damage isn't what helps you kill the courier. It's the 12% slow that gives you just 1 more hit as Bounty Hunter.
I wonder how many times I've like picked it up like earlier on as like I guess by the time you're thinking about
you're not buying it on Medusa. You're not buying it on Drow.
You are, but you're buying it
for
as part
Scotty.
Of
but that's way later, right?
Right. Like that's what I was just gonna say. Is like I don't think I'm ever picking up.
It's probably the last component you buy for Scotty.
Yeah, because I'd much rather have the stats from the ultimate orb than the slow.
So no, I don't do that. I don't get Blightstone or anything. It's literally Brown Boot, Windlace, Dagon.
Although, Blightstone would probably be worth it.
Will you pull up my most recent game and just use the slider and see when I got Brown Boots, Windlace, Dagon? At what point I had that? Just pull the slider up. I had a lot of deaths that game, but honestly, we won really early, and I definitely contributed. I was the support too. I bought a lot of wards, or it felt like it. Maybe I didn't buy a lot of wards. I felt like I bought like maybe 5 wards, 4 wards, 3 wards, at least 1. Just.
Do you let me tell you if you ever bought a ward?
I know I bought at least 3.
So what am I looking for specifically?
How many wards I bought?
I guess I can go to the scoreboard and see that.
Yeah,
right?
Scoreboard, and then you just slide over. Really, you don't know how to use this new UI? That's great.
I haven't played support in a long time.
I have a crystal.
You bought 3 wards. You did.
Okay. Well, it was not a super long game. Anyway. As you can see, my kills are low.
You had your Dagon by, it looks like 11 minutes, maybe earlier. Yeah, 10 and a half.
10 and a half. So 10 and a half minutes, pretty good for a Dagon one, and pretty good for somebody who can be anywhere. Especially at that point, does it show you my skills? At what level was my teleport ability?
I can go into the scoreboard.
Because I'd be wildly curious. I think I at least have a level 2 teleport.
No, I can't tell that.
I at least have a level 2. Sorry for the Discord noise. I forgot to turn that off. I remember I was forgetting something. So we're on a different computer right now than we usually use. We're changing setups. We're gonna actually go to PC. I'm sorry to everybody who loves Macs. We're gonna start doing all of our recording on a PC.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I think it's gonna be better. I think it's gonna provide us the ability that we've always wanted, which is to have the same audio quality that people hear on the podcast and have the potential to do shows live, which is something I'm really looking forward to. Wouldn't it be cool to be doing this?
It's going to turn into like a TriCaster. I'm basically building my computer and the new computer that's arriving to be a whole unit where I can control a lot of things, because we're eventually, by the way, you guys, and I know it's been 2.5 years, but Cyphus and I meant for this to be video. And it became such a podcasty thing that we kind of haven't done video, but do expect before we die that you will see a video of a live recorded show. This is something that isn't that hard to do. I understand that, but we just want to do it right. And that's kind of been, every time it's been brought up, we're like, well, we want to do it right. And we're getting to the point where we can do it right.
Yeah,
That's
I think
tangent
finally
for another time maybe, but
yeah, I think you're right. Like I do think finally we now have a path.
we're preparing to start doing video in our audio. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But we understand that video is going to happen soon. And I think there might be some interest. I'd be curious to hear how much interest there is. But if you just want to see what it looks like for Denny and I to record and expect cool overlays, because you're not going to not get cool overlays.
Yeah, God forbid. God forbid. No, I'm with you. It will be fun to do, and being able to like do a live show and then do a post show, like for people that show up on Twitch, and like I don't know, that kind of stuff I think would be a blast to do, and be able to interact with the community like as things are kind of happening.
Exactly.
Would all be fun. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up real quick before we wrap this episode, because I think we are going to do like a slightly shorter episode because we're running so behind on everything today. But
yeah,
watching MDL has been so much goddamn fun.
Oh, it's been. I feel like for the first time, I'm not just watching it like. How do I put this? I'm paying attention, I guess is the best way to put it. For the first time, like you and I are starting to talk about and go into test, like we've been turning the cheats on and going into lobbies and seeing how certain interactions work that these pros are like exploiting, to see like why they're exploiting it so hard and like what's making this specifically with OD. OD.
So
you can tell this story.
Yeah. So I want to just say that like I realize we're ripping off a little bit of kind of what you guys got into at on Proudland on Friday. It's funny because I was going back and listening to that Proudland episode. Like
I don't even remember what was talked about.
So it was on mid, if you recall.
Oh yeah.
And
you
brought up
episode.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
You guys brought up. You specifically brought up that old Blitz thing that I was telling you about, the like priority, which is
the rules.
Yeah, which the priority being from Blitz's perspective.
Did I say it right
whenever
the first
this was.
time? Because
you did.
Okay, it was last hits, denies, harass.
No,
right?
It's last hits, harass, denies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Proud threw in he
like
was
a 5-step. He put in a 5-step to that. Yeah.
Well, and his whole thing was making sure you get the and I'm paraphrasing terribly here, but making sure that you deny the ranged creep and making sure that you kill the enemy's ranged creep.
Yeah,
and
that was one of like the bigger points. Like that was like second and third on his list or something like that.
It's so funny because I was listening to that episode like randomly throughout the course of the weekend, and I think I cut it off like right before you guys got to that. And I was sitting down and I was telling you I was watching SCCC play Outworld Devourer early on in the tournament.
You thought you came up with the thought first, and I came up with the thought way before you. And
but like. It was fascinating to watch the way that he was building OD. And I mean, it even inspired me to go play some OD again. And because the way that that he builds OD and the way that I saw him build OD, I can't think of any game where I didn't see him do this, but he favors maxing OD's W, the Astral Imprisonment. And the way that he operates in the laning phase against any mid is so procedural. All he would do is he would use Astral Imprisonment every time that the creep wave was pushing up to kill his ranged creep on his enemy. He would burn Astral Imprisonment to ensure that he would get the deny on the ranged creep. And I was like, man, I remembered the patch update where they were talking about how I remember, of course, they're 90 XP, to the what did you and I test it out or find out that it was?
It was 90 for range, 45 for melee.
Yeah, so you're looking
at... Is that initial experience or is that always? I think that's always.
That's always, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean,
they don't give more XP over time. They just get larger. So they do give more XP because there's more of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was fascinating to see how I felt like for the first time ever I was watching, I was realizing what the fuck was going on at mid. Like, of course, like yes, your primary goal is stopping them from getting that range creep experience or as much of it as fucking possible.
Yeah, and it resonated a lot with me when Proud did say that, and I was joking. I knew exactly what you were going to bring up.
Well,
I just didn't want to be like around all their friends.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
my show, we already got into this. Like I didn't want to be like I was just like whatever. Like, and I thought it was fascinating the way OD was doing it because it was so procedural, and the game's just going on, and it's like, look at him, bam, in the trap. He denies his own range. It kills their range. Fucking awesome. Like what the fuck? Like who even thinks of this, and then who does it, and then executes it every single wave. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what just was so impressive about newbies play in particular throughout that tournament. And I don't want to talk any spoilers about it because we gave everybody the opportunity to.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, so I don't want to get into spoilers, but I don't think this is a spoiler to discuss. But like every time I was watching newbie play, I was so impressed because everything that they were doing was so damn procedural. And even on the flip side, EG, I can't remember which game it was. I want to say it was versus OG or newbie. But there was a Tide Hunter where they just basically abandoned the lane, like they from the get-go.
If I recall correctly, this is newbie v EG game 2, and this is in upper bracket.
Yeah, might be.
I believe it was game 2. Just look for the Tide Hunter game. It was really cool. I went back and watched it.
But they completely abandon it, and at one point, the Tide Hunter makes his way up there, and when I unpacked like why the Tide Hunter was moving up there and everything in my brain, it was like, oh my god, they are thinking about this all so very fucking quickly.
Yeah.
They knew that they were letting Arteezy kind of free farm up there, and and because of course he's free farming, his wave is naturally kind of pushing. And at one point, he had 3 ranged creeps stacked up that were going to push into a tower. And the Tide Hunter saw that and worked his ass up there ASAP to get 3 ranged creeps worth of XP. And even knowing that he probably wouldn't get the last hits, he just wanted the XP. So cool. Meanwhile, fucking Arteezy is diving this guy as, admittedly a Slark, like he's going to be all right, but he's diving him under that tower. He's diving deep alone. Because his entire goal being to stop the Tide from getting those 3 ranged creeps worth of XP. It was really nuts just to think about the prioritization that pros were assigning to ranged creep XP.
Shitty analogy of the show. It's kind of like you hear a beautiful symphony, okay? You don't really understand it, but it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But then you see the written music, and you're like, God damn, that's complex.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? There's my shitty analogy for the.
I'll go
show.
with your shitty analogy.
Yeah,
it's almost a blue level analogy.
You can see how beautiful it is, but it's not until you see actually how hard it is to execute such a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. Like it was just something I hadn't. I'm sure I've seen it 100 times watching a pro game. But it's definitely never something I've actively thought about at my skill level, making sure that I implemented. And I went in and played those OD matches, and I started just maxing my W, and I started burning. And the beauty was I knew when I was going to harass.
But you know what's funny?
With my W
is old OD back when the W was what stole int was what you maxed. And then new OD came out, and they're like, nah, it's Q, man. You max Q. Yeah. And now it's gone back to, no, we don't really need that much int, I guess. Like, let's get this W out for the laning phase. What happened? Let's see. I was going to... It used to steal, like 15 int? It varied on level, but when you put them in the Astral Imprisonment is how you get int off people. And remember, his ult with Ags back then would put everybody in an Astral Imprisonment. In a field, that's what his ult did with Ags. And then it would steal a shitload of int. It still does. Yeah, it still does that. But back then it was like, oh, it's a huge nerf to OD because I used to get a shitload of int when I'd use that. Or maybe the Ags came out post the changes. I don't know. The Ags probably came out post changes.
Yeah, I think it did. But regardless, it's just really interesting. But you're still correct. Like, it's still very fascinating to see the build go back to that old build, but now for a completely different reason.
Yeah, because and we're talking the same hero within 1 year. This hero has gone through so many changes that it's now like its utility is so different, and I think people are now becoming realistic on how many hits. And this is the point that I brought up to you at your over at your house, was that you can't count on hitting somebody 10 successive times as OD because you have a short range. Even if you have the Dragon Lance, and even if you get the Hurricane Pike, like the best thing you can count on is maybe getting 25 in, like 5 hits, 5 successive hits on a 1v1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really the int so much as it's the pure damage at that point. I mean, I know int, obviously, with his ult, is a huge thing for OD.
Right.
Obviously, it's a very big thing.
Reducing mana pools for heroes, and for a number of reasons.
Play Wraith King, and it's like you can't even stun if you get hit by one orb. It's like, oh fuck, now I can't stun once.
Well,
like it's physically impossible.
It's funny because like you and I were working on a song, right? Remember the hello
thing? It's OD. Well, I was wondering if after all these patch notes you'd like to meet to go over everything.
So we were working.
That was so good. What was the caterwauling line?
I can't remember. I can hear caterwauling from way out on. Anyway, it's one of OD's lines.
I could hear you caterwauling way out on the rim. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, dude, it was so good, and you wouldn't let me release it because I can't sing like Adele. Fuck you, I can sing like Adele. I'm putting it at the top of this episode. Hello, how are you? Okay.
So, so it's fascinating because like we did that song because OD got nerfed into the ground and nobody was going to play him.
And little do we know, he bounces back quick.
Well, I mean, in the same patch, you know what I mean? Like he's all the way back. And what hit me was
I don't know if it's the same patch. I think it might have been 687 that did that to him. Or possibly even 686. I mean, but it was quick. Yeah. It was pretty quick for him to go. Like rock bottom's a great place to build back up again. Thanks, J.K. Rowling. That's your quote.
I'd swear it was 688 that he got the big nerf. But regardless, like the other reason to continue picking him is because you remember TI, like all those illusion strategies were so goddamn popular. Who's the best at dealing with illusions?
Are you talking like Shadow Demon? Like, the
SD,
Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon Judge, Manta. Shadow Demon. It was the Shadow Demon Anti-Mage that was particularly disgusking.
No, dude.
I thought so about? Because what would happen is SD would put Anti-Mage in the disruption. Then they would come out. Then Anti-Mage would blink onto the tier 3, pop his Manta, and then 2 more of him would come in to support his already 2 Manta'd illusions. So there'd be like it was. I thought it was particularly overpowered with Anti-Mage.
They were doing that with a lot of heroes, but the one that was the most prevalent with was Drow.
Oh yeah, and then it's low ground. Then you're on fucking low ground. Who cares if you miss a bunch? This disruption spell only has like 12-second cooldown. Maybe I know it's not super long.
But OD's really good at dealing with illusions.
Yeah, one hit, right? Isn't it just a one go? Yeah.
No, it's just that he does like
extra damage versus him. Lion's really good too. And we saw this with Fly.
Yeah, but not really. Not like OD. I mean, you're talking about OD basically can make his right click deal with illusions pretty quickly. But
whereas you have to use a spell that like I don't even know what max mana drain.
It's like a 4-second cooldown. It's super low. I'll pull that up as well.
In 12 seconds, you could get rid of 3, whereas in probably 3 seconds, you could get rid of 4 on OD. Or something
so
like that.
his bonus illusion damage at max level is 400.
And unless we're talking some like serious late game Terrorblade, Scotty Butterfly Heart,
even when you say most illusions take X percent extra damage, you know what I mean, depending on the source, like that's you're still dealing with illusions pretty quickly. I mean and summon units and dealing with Warlock, and Warlock's been kind of becoming more popular.
Does it do extra damage to the Golem?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love when I play
bullshit, dude.
That's
his ultimate ability. You know what I hate? A rant. Here's what I hate, okay? Is that Slark's goddamn Q gets rid of my goddamn track from Bounty Hunter. Really, bro? It took me forever to get to level 6. You have that Q at level 3, and you can just get rid of my track? I'm constantly tracking your ass? Really? Like Dark Pack, maybe.
It's a low cooldown on your track.
Oh, but come on. Like, I'm just like, track, Q, track, Q, track. I'm out of mana and you're not because you have an Echo Saber. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was like particularly like, it's my ult, man. It's my ult. Like, can we? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's painful. Speaking of heroes, I love to see. Speaking of heroes, I love to see when I play OD, Nature's Prophet too, because you gobble up all those treants.
You gobble up the trees. You can trap me if I try and TP away. If you're smart, you can get me while I'm shadow bladed. And I know a lot of ODs. I'm not sure if this is still like core, but Rod of Atos. I almost forgot what it was called.
Oh no, I Hurricane Pike, I think, is the way you go.
I guess even Hurricane Pike. I mean,
days.
even if you force staff toward me, I think that's probably a better use on like a shadow bladed Nature's Prophet that you dusted. Instead of pushing me away from you, you should probably just force staff toward me so you can keep right clicking me. Because what am I gonna do? And you can force staff out of my trees. If I try and tree trap you to run away, that type of thing.
Well, the beauty of the Hurricane
Makes
Pike is that I can both force you out of your trees and enhance my range.
Well, you can only force me out of my trees if you can see me, and if we're on the same level, if you know what I mean, like the same ground level, and I put myself in trees, you can't. You would have to force staff into my trees, and then you'd break some, and then you could throw me in a W. Regardless, item is great, and yes, you're absolutely right. You counter natures hugely, with the exception of that I'm an int hero. I guess would be the only exception there. That like maybe our int differences aren't huge. Like they're still gonna be big, but they're not gonna be like enormous.
Are you building a lot of int items on natures though?
Dagon has int. I mean, Dagon has a staff of wizardry in it. But I mean, it's not a ton of int. It's not. Well, for me, Nature's Prophet usually. I mean, you get your Orchid, you get Shadow Blade, you get Mjolnir. I know is a big build. Desolator I know is a big build. So for the most part, no.
Yeah, I guess.
Necrobook, I guess.
Oh yeah, people are building Hurricane Pike and Scythe of Ice. Yeah, so you're building.
Well, Scythe is like you've been doing well. You're a good businessman throughout the game. You've been doing well. You've saved up.
I just mean like of common items. Although some people
there's just so many different builds with. I mean, I don't like you can go like that Deso Necro type thing. You can just get the Maelstrom just for straight wave clear. Some like swear that Shadow Blade is the only item you buy on natures, which I never buy Shadow Blade. I feel like if I'm in a position that a Shadow Blade needs to save me from, I'm probably in the wrong position. Especially as natures with how highly mobile he is. Like, probably shouldn't have teleported there if I need to use Shadow Blade.
I don't know. At our skill level, I'd fucking build Shadow Blade. Jesus.
So natures has this like weird thing where like, if you're playing a good natures or or what I would consider at my low MMR a good natures is moving around a lot, right? Like a good natures isn't sitting farming forever. So his farm peak is early because when I'm the most stationary is the like 1 through 6 minutes, right? Or something like that when I'm in the jungle and I'm just gathering gold. And if all that gold just goes toward a Shadow Blade and I can't convert that Shadow Blade into more gold, well, I just kind of have a Shadow Blade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the other side of natures is he just makes gold out of thin air because of trees and just getting lucky with getting last hits because you have a ton of trees pushing down a wave.
Yeah. Although there are plenty of natures out there that feed just as much gold with those trees as they get from them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the trees being worth, I think, generally probably somewhere around like 8 to 14, I would say, is probably the range on what a tree is worth. But I mean, that's still multiply that by 5 and you get all those last hits. I mean, that's more than close, getting like 1.5 creeps or something like that. I don't know experience per tree, but they also give experience, which if you've ever noticed going up against an offlane Veno, and you're like, how come we're keeping up in level with this offlane Veno? Well, because he's dropping down wards that you're 2-hitting, and he's not leveling his wards up, his plague wards, because he thinks that they're doing a bunch, but they're giving you experience.
All right, so we have gone
super tangential.
It's all right, but I'm gonna end the show because I set the timer. We're about where we need to be. We're about where we need to be for a normal show. So.
I think from the non-opinion research that I've done on how long a podcast should be, it's somewhere around now.
Yeah.
No, that's not even true. They say like 21 to 33 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, which I don't even know if that is.
I mean, how can you judge? Like, it just depends on how smooth. You know, like what if I was just so goddamn smooth?
More shorter podcasts probably seem more popular because you can consume more shorter podcasts.
I don't know. I don't want to get into it though. That's for sure.
Me either. So all right, before we go, I'm going to read the new review that we got.
Oh man, this is a really, really funny one.
Yeah. So this is called Getting Better Daily by Therabyte Ear. Therabidier?
Their rabbiteer? The rabbiteer, I think is what it was.
Rabbiteer. There we go.
I think that's what it is. The rabbiteer.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So he explains the 5-star rating he gave us as such. Let's look at this like Ursinity and Proudwood. +1 for subject of podcast. +1 for frequency of podcast
Okay, we're at
posts.
2. We're at 2.
+1 for involvement with community.
3.
-3 for Proud's goatee.
We're at 0.
+1 for Proud's PA build.
Okay, we're at 1.
+1 because Proud accepted my friend request.
Okay, we're at 2.
+1 for Proudland.
We're at 3.
+2 for Theorycraft Thursday.
5. Damn.
-3 for Roland Spam Jungle.
Ooh.
It would be -5, but it's not because it's fun.
Okay, we're at a 2.
And +3 for Roland beating Ursinity 1v1 mid.
Nice. Nice.
So
that did happen.
Thank God that happened.
Oh,
Thank God
and by
that
the way,
happened.
I did want to. I meant to pass this information along to Blue, but I would like to set up another 1v1 between Ursi. I think I have a secret weapon, and I think I can beat him again. I'll say it on air.
All right, but Fish's review said, whole cast is fracking awesome. If you're a fan of the game at any level, this is a great cast to follow. No matter the skill level, all of the shows help break down the game in different ways, more than 3 times weekly, and I learned something new each time. Proudland is coming along nicely. The breakdown is awesome. Theorycraft Thursday, come on. Most of us like to play with 1 or 2 guys, and this really gives us a good look at hero combos. Whatever the hell you decide it is, Wednesdays is great to see.
What a good show idea Theorycraft Thursday is. It really is.
Yeah. Great to see a spread of MMRs talking and discussing views at each level and what is wrong or right about it. Try Hard Tuesdays, get those mechanics. Monday, I think it is the oldest cast, and I still have no goddamn clue what it's going to be about next week.
That's awesome.
He says, I can't make up this kind of shenanigans. P.S. I think you made the burglary up because you were stumbling home from the bar and were trying to get publicity. But hey, any publicity is good publicity.
I agree. Any publicity is good publicity. I will say we were being honest. And Denny and I are not lushes. Like, we are not the type of people to go to a bar and get shit-faced.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I've never... I've never seen you blackout drunk. You've never seen me blackout drunk. I've never seen you blackout drunk.
Yeah,
I've seen you.
I don't know that I ever.
I've seen you
been.
funny drunk, and I think you've seen me funny drunk. But like, I just am not that type of drinker. I know when to stop with alcohol. I guess
99.9% of the time I am successful with this being my only goal, to sleep in my own bed every night.
Same. I have never been stranded somewhere because of alcohol, and I've never taken the risk of, potentially endangering that.
Well, and I like to get home. I like to drive myself home. I just don't want to.
Being in control. I think we both like to be in control of our lives. I think that's what it is. And alcohol is a good way of taking that control away from your life, because you're just too drunk to drive. And even though you say you're fine, your friends took your keys because they're good friends. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm like mothers against drunk driving right now. Is what I'm doing right now. But
I will say we did not make up the attempted burglary. That was not made up.
It was not made up at all. And it definitely was it's the scariest thing. And the thing that is the creepiest is that the dude was in my house. You know what I mean? Like, the dude was in the place where I sleep. I
suspect they just opened the door and looked inside, probably heard everybody milling around, and then went out back, and then couldn't get into the studio, and and I'm sure that's how it went down, because you and I were really close right after it happened.
Oh, imagine had we decided to leave 2 minutes earlier, because the local establishment that we were at is very close to where I live, within 2 miles of where I live, so it only took us about max 5 minutes to get home, maybe 5 minutes to get back to my house. Yeah. So if we would have left 2 minutes earlier, we would have seen that motherfucker even more so trying to get into our shit. And the smartest thing we could have done was not turn the floodlights that I have on in the backyard and just sneak out there while it's dark and shit and try and be all sly and then be turn them on and get the motherfucker, dude. I don't know what I would have done with him, but I would have because I would have been like, Denny, you gotta tackle him, bro. And you'd be like, why can't you do it? And it's because I hurt my ankle. You gotta hurry and tackle him, bro.
I assumed whoever it was just gone by the time we got there.
Me too. It was creepy that the dude was on the property for 5 to 7 minutes. That's a long time to not get spooked. You know what I mean? Yeah. He felt comfortable being on my property for 5 to 7 minutes. So
Anyway, and the cop was my neighbor.
And the cop was Jenny's neighbor.
So
he was, and like I said, totally painted a really cool picture of police officers for me. This guy was like above and beyond, super nice, like protect and serve type dude that was like, I'm here to make sure you feel safe. Like that is my job and my number one concern. And like that was just so cool to see.
Yeah. No, he's a really good guy. I can't recommend having cops for neighbors highly enough because nothing bad ever happens around you.
Yeah. Yep. All right, close her out.
All right, if you guys want to find us, we're at defenseofthepatients.com, at @p_show on Twitter. defenseofthepatients@gmail.com is the email. You can find our Patreon, which is going to get an overhaul tomorrow. That's another thing me and Blue are going to work on because it's so outdated, that Patreon. It needs to be fixed.
We have some goals that
like
easy
don't even make
works
sense.
too hard. I miss that Marquise guy, dude.
Yeah, I do too. But for some people that have tuned in recently, they may not even know who Easy is.
Oh my god, that's a weird thing for me. People not knowing who Easy is. You're missing out. You need to go back and listen to Yo, the sexiest sex machine, Easy Marquise. One of the people, right. One of the drafters of our Constitution, for sure. His signature would be on that Constitution.
The .p articles of faith.
Yeah, exactly. He would have the cool signature. He'd be like the Alexander Hamilton, dude. Go down in history. Anyway.
Yeah. Of course, we're on all other social media platforms besides just Twitter, but Twitter's the one where we're most interactive, I'd say. If you want to leave us a review, that's another great way to help out the show. Just go to iTunes.
And thank you, the Rabbit Ear. I'm wondering if it's the Rabbit Ear or the Rabbiteer. Is it the rabbit ear and he's just spelling ear in a weird way? Like IER?
The
Rabbiteer, the rabbit ear, Farabitier. Thank you very much.
It's all the same to me. But those reviews do help us. They get us, more visibility in iTunes. And that's how people find podcasts. That's how they find video game podcasts. That's how they find .p sometimes. So thanks to everybody who's gone and left a review there. I think he was our 50th, I want to say.
Our 50th review, we have 52 5 stars and 2 4 stars, which 4 star is still very good.
So he's our 50th review, but there are four others that are just ratings.
Yeah, 4 other people were like, okay, they talk about this shit. I'll just click one.
And of course, that's not even counting the international ones, which you and I still have not gone and.
Oh yeah, and sorry to all of you in other countries. The problem is iTunes breaks it down to the country, and they're like, especially Europe. There's a lot of countries and a lot of downloads, and the way our geographics work, like we just see, I don't know. It's hard to go through every single one. It's extremely hard, and honestly, we need to have a day where we're like, all right, let's pull out a map. Let's find every country, and we'll go to them one by one, starting east to west. Go, and that's how we'll do that.
Even just pulling up Canada, there are 2 from this year that we haven't gotten to. One's all about Proudland.
What is it? Let's read it. Let's hear what it says.
All right. So this was earlier this month, actually. Okay. Proudland, a true 5-star by Dagon de Jurek. I have listened to your show for a long time, and although always enjoyable, I found Proudland to be the best Dota segment I have ever heard. It's by far the most informed episode regarding Dota in a way that helps low to high MMR players fill in the gaps. Really well explained and thorough. I also didn't like Proud at all prior to this. He always had statements powdered with cursing. I got tired of it after a while. However, in this series, he actually explains his points, and I can't believe how enjoyable he is. Totally changed my opinion of him.
Well, apparently,
great job.
It took me that long, too, to like Proud. It was like, I just hate this guy. Then finally I saw his PA set, and I was like, damn, he might know what he's talking about. He really dressed his PA up to look really cool.
It says, great job to all of you, as I'm a longtime listener, but especially for the Roland Proud combo for the latest. It made me write this review. Well done.
Wow. So we at least have one download on that new shitty show, huh?
Yep, that's right.
Wow, that's crazy. Wouldn't have thought it. But hey, one person's listened to it and they liked it. Maybe you guys might like it. Go ahead and give Proudland to listen to. It's definitely really interesting. Basically, my job is to just pick that dude's brain, and that's all I do. I try and just think of things to ask him. that I don't know. Sometimes I ask things that I may know, but he can just explain it way better than me. But that's very rare. Few and far between where I actually know what I'm asking.
Like I said, I listened to that last Friday episode, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So,
well, obviously, I put it as like it's all a proud and half of me, but let's be honest, like it's all of me and a little bit of proud.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I mean, I just wanted Proud to feel good about his goatee. I know he gets a lot of shit for it, and that's why he needed to show all about him, not all about his goatee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So. But yeah, no, it's been fun. I've learned a lot from it. Like,
all right, I'm gonna read one more. This one's from the UK.
Are you just looking for one that's about you because you're not gonna find it?
No,
I'm just joking. I'm gonna write a review that just says I love Cyphus, and that's it.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Now this one's called Scotsman by Kieran McDonald. He says, this is from last month. He says, Yankee Doodle came to town and made me good at Dota. And that's it.
Yankee Doodle.
The Brits are so funny.
Do you think we've really improved anybody's MMR? I mean, our show hasn't. Like,
no,
surely.
not you and me.
Okay. But the theory crafters are probably like, I bet there's a few people out there that play those combos and win.
Oh, yeah. And probably, like, earn some MMR.
And then are probably like, Jesus, like, they're so right. But really, they're just good players. But we just make them think that they're good because of us, because they finally tried to do a combo that they were already good at before. That could be possible.
Okay, so I'm going to say this next Monday episode, you and I are going to go through and we're going to read the other 5 UK episodes, the other 5 UK reviews and the other 5 Canadian reviews. That's our goal for next.
Okay.
For next
iTunes, and can we also write in an angry email to iTunes to just say, please put all of our reviews in one place? Like, we don't just need to be nationalistic about this. We can just have like worldwide reviews. Like, that would be great.
Completely agree. I can't believe I can't see every review.
Yeah. We didn't even know about this like a year in. We didn't know that people were reviewing our podcast just from different countries. So now that we know it, we just have to click on like the 7 million countries that are in the world, and we'll read them all one day. How many countries? There's like a ton. Right? Hundreds? I think probably
200. I'm going to look at it. It's 200 something. Number of countries.
Nice. A fact checker that's live, dude. If only our country used these live fact checkers. Wouldn't that be something?
There are 196 countries in the world today, though Taiwan is not considered an official country by many, which would bring the count down to 195. I knew it was 200. I knew it was right about there.
Okay. Well, we'll read all of those from all 195 and a half countries, even though Taiwan is totally a country in my heart.
In your heart? Okay. Fair enough.
All right, I know we're going way over. You need to get some sleep, bud.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. Okay. I think we did all the plugs. So So fuck it. Until next time, this is Cyphus for Roland saying good luck, Godspeed.
Wow.